Mrs. Lohoff here, lesson 3.10, Subtraction of Fractions, part C. In this lesson, we're going to work with how to subtract fractions when the bottom number or the denominator is different. If you remember what we did for adding fractions when the denominator was different, it's exactly the same thing, only this time, after we're done finding equivalent fractions, we're going to subtract the numbers. So let's look at some examples. Always have to wait for this first page to change. Here we go. 2/3 minus 4/12. Notice the denominators or the bottom numbers are different. We cannot add or subtract fractions when the denominators are different. We need them to be the same. In order for them to be the same, we need to find what's called the least common multiple. That means that we take each number, in this case 3 and 12, and we write out all the multiplication facts for them. So 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5, 3 times 6. We write those numbers down, and then we do the same for 12. 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, 12 times 4, and we're looking for a number that's the same. Now, you might already have one in mind. See if you can think of one on your own. What multiple would 3 and 12 have in common? Well, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. It's like it is counting by threes. 3 times 3 is 9, and you can get this right from your multiplication fact sheet, your multiplication chart. Find the 3, and the multiples just are the numbers either going down or across. 3 times 4 is 12. Wait a minute, 12? That's our other number. And 12 times 1 is 12. They have those numbers in common. Those numbers are the same, and it's the smallest number they have in common because 12 times 1 is the very first math fact for 12. So we found it. We found our least common multiple. And in this case, it's 12. So now we can convert these fractions over to the least common multiple and then subtract. So we want these fractions to be in the form of 12s. And I should have done them side by side. I didn't set these up the way I should have. So 2/3, let me do them over here. 2/3 minus 4/12. Okay. 2/3, we're going to take this fraction and we're going to turn it into a new fraction where the denominator is 12. Same with the second fraction. That's a 2. It's a bad one. All right. To get from 3 to 12, we multiplied 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Whatever you do to one part of the fraction, you have to do the same thing to the other part to make it equal. 2 times 4 is 8. 2/3 is the same as 8/12. Let's convert our other fraction, 4/12. Well, it's already in 12s, so we just copy the 4 over. Now we're ready to subtract, and our answer is going to be in 12ths. 8/12 minus 4/12 is 4/12. Can you see a way to make this a simple fraction? I know I can divide 4 by a number, and I can divide 12 by that same number. I can divide them both by 4. Remember, whatever I do to one part of a fraction, I need to do to the other. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the answer to 2/3 minus 4/12 is 1/3. Let's look at another example. This is the same process that we did for adding fractions with unlike denominators. We just are subtracting once we come up with our fractions. So this time our denominators are 8 and 6. I need to find the least common multiple. You might already have one in your mind. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. All right, let's see if we have a number that is the same when we do our multiples of 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. It's really bad too. Oh, let me erase that. I should have like a bloopers reel, but it'll be the same thing, me not able to write numbers. All right, 6 times 4 was 24. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. And 6 times 8 is 48. Let's stop there because I noticed some numbers that are the same. Common, we are looking for the least common multiple. So the smallest number that they have that's the same, that's what the C means, from the multiplication facts. And I see 24. And I also see 48. Oh, they have 2 in common. Remember, we want the one that is the least or the smallest of the two. Would that be 24 or 48? Which number is less? 24. So we need to convert these fractions into a new fraction where the denominator is 24. All right, let's remember 24 is our least common multiple. Get rid of this so I have room to work. And let's change it to purple. If I ever get it to come back up, there we go. Because I'm tired of blue. Okay, 7/8 minus 5/6. We found that our common denominator, or least common multiple, is 24. Sometimes they call it the least common denominator too. It's another name for it. I'm trying not to confuse you. Least common multiple is 24. They're all just words for the same thing. All right, to get from 8 to 24, we multiplied 8 times 3. Whatever you do to one part of a fraction, you need to do to the other. 7 times 3, bad 3, is 21. 7/8 is the same as 21/24. All right, bottom fraction. To go from 6 to 24, we multiplied 6 times 4. We need to do that same thing to the top part of the fraction. 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Now we have two fractions where the denominator is the same, and now we can subtract. So the denominator will stay 24, and 21 minus 20 is 1. So the answer to 7/8 minus 5/6 is 1/24. All right, let's do one more. For this problem, our denominators are 10 and 4. If I do my multiplication facts for 10, 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times 4 is 40. And my multiplication facts for 4, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. You might have thought 40 was the least common multiple because I know that 40 times 10 is 40. And it is a common multiple, but we have one that is smaller, and that is 20. Those they have in common. So the least common multiple for 9/10 and 3/4 is 20. I'm sorry, the least common multiple for 10 and 4 is 20. So let's rebuild this equation here and get it solved. 9/10 minus 3/4. All right, we need to make equivalent fractions. We knew that the least common multiple is 20 because they want to test out my number rating for 2. Clearly, that was their idea. Ooh, that one's not so bad. All right, to go from 10 to 20, we multiply 10 times 2. If I do that to the bottom part of the fraction, I need to do the same to the top. Multiply by 2 again. 9 times 2 is 18. To go from 4 to 20, I multiplied 4 times 5. That means I need to multiply 5 to the top part of my fraction. 3 times 5 is 15. Now that we have the denominators the same, we can subtract and our answer will be over 20. 18 minus 15 is 3. So 9/10 minus 3/4 is 3/20. All right, I hope this was helpful. Again, it's the same process you were doing before. If you have questions, join my 1 o'clock support time. Give me a call or an email. I'm here to help you out. Okay, bye.